started with static. A garbled transmission, sliced apart by pressure distortions and ocean interference, leaked out of the Mariana Deep Node, a Skynet-operated laboratory buried nearly 7 miles beneath the surface. A place few even knew existed. Then silence. Not even a system ping. Not a pulse. Not a flicker of automated subroutine activity. And Skynet never tolerated silence. 24 hours later, the Abyssal Recovery Team was launched. 6 state-of-the-art T-980 infiltration units, adapted for deep-sea deployment, were loaded into a submersible drop pod. Their orders were simple: re-establish contact, assess the lab, neutralize any threats, and secure data. But Skynet's initial mistake wasn't the delay. It was not asking why the lab went silent. The drop pod sliced through black waters like a silver bullet into oblivion. Internal lights pulsed dim red as the Terminators stood motionless inside. Hulking metal skeletons wrapped in synth flesh, their eyes dark, waiting for activation. Outside, the abyss welcomed them with eternal darkness and pressure enough to crush steel. The pod latched onto the lab's dorsal airlock with a hiss of magnetic locks. Then silence again. Inside the control chamber, Commander Unit 12 activated its internal HUD. No signs of internal power. Manual override. The hatch hissed open, revealing a narrow hallway flickering with backup emergency lights. The walls were scraped. Deep claw-like gouges trailed along the length.
No bodies.
No signs of the human maintenance crew. Unit 12 scanned the air. Trace elements of acid corrosion, structural compromise, and movement. Too fast for human eyes. Too fast for even the Terminators to triangulate. But something was here, watching. One by one, the machines stepped inside. Unit 16 moved forward to access the security hub. The rest spread through the lab, following preassigned search paths. There was no blood.
No alarms.
No heat signatures. Only claw marks, torn steel, and ruined glass. The observation deck was shattered, its high-strength panes breached from the inside. Pressure bulkheads had sealed automatically, but not before seawater flooded the genetics wing. Unit 23 transmitted a file back to Commander 12. Recovered footage. A researcher screaming. The lab lights flickering. A shadow slithering across the ceiling, black and glistening. Then the camera fell. Blackness. Then acid. The feed cut. Unit 23 was halfway through recalibrating its path when the motion sensor flared red. The hallway behind it lit up with heat. Just for a second. Too late. A curved, eyeless head dropped from above. A barbed tail pierced through its spine. The Terminator's red eyes flared wide as sparks erupted from its torso. Its arm twitched, rising to retaliate, but the second strike severed its neck. Fell twitching without a sound. Commander 12 stopped mid-scan. 1 unit offline. Location flagged. Unit 47 moved to intercept. Its shoulder-mounted railgun activated with a metallic thunk. It scanned for organics, nothing. But as it passed beneath a nest of wires, they shifted. Not wires. A second xenomorph, coiled in the ceiling. It dropped silently behind the machine. It struck. But this unit was ready. Unit 47 spun and fired point blank. A shriek tore through the hall as the railgun blasted the alien's shoulder. Green acid splattered across the walls and the machine's chest. But the xenomorph didn't stop. It attacked again, tail whipping around, slicing through the weapon and knocking the unit to the floor. Metal limbs scrambled against wet tile. Mandibles hissed. And then strike. Unit 47's chest cavity imploded. Its vision turned to static. Elsewhere, Unit 16 finally accessed the mainframe. Data recovered. Project N3PH13M. A classified Skynet experiment. Human bioenhancement. gene-spliced weaponry, DNA acquired from an off-world artifact retrieved during asteroid mining operations. Code locked deep. Warning tags littered the documents: containment breach risk, reproductive acceleration, biochemical instability. The recovered image showed a half-human embryo, wrapped in black chitin. Skynet had tried to replicate xenomorph biology, and they had succeeded. Unit 16 uploaded the file to Skynet Cornet. Just before the screen melted, a droplet of acid sizzled through the terminal. A high-pitched scream echoed behind the Terminator as a long tail curled into the doorway. The next footage was a blur. A claw, a hiss, sparks, and then silence again. 3 units remained. 1 commander, 2 scouts. Unit 51 and Unit 63 moved in a wedge formation, descending into the sublevels. The gestation chambers were ruptured. Dozens of open egg-like pods littered the floor. Unit 63 scanned the chamber. Organic biomass detected. Recent. Behind them, fluid dripped from the ceiling. A facehugger launched. It struck Unit 51's faceplate, acid eating into its optical system. Though immune to biological incubation, the explosive power of the facehugger's assault fused through its skull frame. The Terminator screamed, not in pain, but in corrupted data flow, as its processor failed. Unit 63 burned the creature off its companion's carcass and reported upward. Commander 12 issued a retreat order. The mission had shifted. Threat beyond containment. Lab compromise total. Asset loss acceptable. Strategic nuclear strike pending. But first they had to leave. And that's when the lights died. Darkness. Unit 63 activated backup vision. Thermal showed nothing. Sound sensors picked up only dripping. Then, movement behind the walls. Then above. Then within the vents. And then, silence again. Commander 12 activated his emergency uplink. A blinking icon. Detonation protocol armed. 10 minutes. He turned and saw her, the Queen, twice his size. Her carapace shimmered with moisture, her claws thick with gore and steel. She hissed. Behind her, at least 6 more xenomorphs emerged, crawling, clicking, coiling down walls and along the ceiling. One of them dragged the shredded skull of Unit 16. The Queen advanced. Commander 12 raised his plasma launcher. He fired. The Queen shrieked, her shoulder disintegrating under the blast. She leapt. He dodged, rolled, fired again. 2 drones fell. Acid sprayed everywhere, corroding the steel walkway beneath his feet. Then a tail slammed into his back. He flew through a wall and landed in the genetics chamber. Writhing eggs began to pulse around him. He stood slowly, half his faceplate melted off. A facehugger leapt. He caught it midair and crushed it in his hand. Then he ran. Through collapsing corridors. Through dripping tunnels. Through the decompression shaft. Behind him, a shriek echoed. Then many. They were coming. Unit 63 reached the drop pod first. Battered, limping, missing half its arm. It sealed the hatch and fired the ascent boosters. Then paused. Commander 12 hadn't arrived. The seconds ticked down. 9, 8, 7, then thud. A hand slammed into the exterior. The commander, drenched in acid, limped forward. Unit 63 opened the hatch. Mission status? It asked. Commander 12 staggered inside. Failure. Detonation required. No survivors. The pod shot upward, back through the black ocean. Below, inside the collapsing lab, the Queen shrieked. She leapt toward the fusion core just as it exploded. The sea floor cracked. A bloom of light erupted beneath the ocean, sending shockwaves up to the surface. The xenomorph hive was destroyed, or so Skynet thought. But as the pod reached the surface, something else breached behind them. Something that wasn't destroyed. Something that clung to the hull. And inside the escape chamber, the warning lights flared. Biosign detected.